ladies and gentlemen. Tonight on DJs BrewTube, we're going to talk about a serious topic. We're going to talk about beer hoarding and the problem that I have with beer hoarding. You know what? Oh, fuck that shit. Mail call! That's right, guys. You know what's up. Crazy beer hoarding ass DJ is at it again. And you see the sign on the front. It says beer on board. So you know that my enabler, Average Joe, has hooked me up real proper like this time. We got 3 boxes, over 5 gallons of beer contained within these lovely corrugated walls. Now, I'm going to take about an hour, probably, to unpack these bad boys. You won't have to sit here for that hour. God knows how long it'll take for me to display all of these freaking beers. This is a new level of insanity, and I am freaking loving it. So, I'm going to go and unpack these beers. I'm going to get my sidebar chair out, and we're going to go box by box and show you all of the freaking awesomeness in these boxes. Hell yes. Back in the Okay, gang, I'm back. I've been working on a brewski here for the 45 minutes that it took me to unpack the said 3 boxes, and contained inside 3 boxes from Generous Joe, aka Average Joe, my enabler. There was 42 beers, that's right. So, I'm going to make a suggestion to you guys. You may want to get yourself a snack, get yourself a beer, because this isn't going to be a short beer mail video, because it takes a little while to rattle through 3 boxes and 42 beers. We're going to go box by box, and we're going to start out with box 1. So, if you want to pause it now, go ahead. I'm going to dive into talking about these beers. We're going to start at Epic, because inside of these boxes is a freaking, like, whaler's delight. It's epic beer after epic beer. You're going to see what I'm talking about. This is no bullshit. This is, like I said, this is the fucking Hoarders edition beer mail. So, what do we got first? We're going to start epic. Like I said, we got a beer out of Marshall, Michigan from Dark Horse Brewing Company. We've got their barrel-aged Plea the 5th, 12% ABV and 39 IBU Russian Imperial Stout. I'm down with that shit. I like the stouts from Dark Horse. So, next, we got a beer kind of local to Joe. What beer is that? It's their Chocolate Cherry Bomb from Ellicottville Brewing Company, who's in Ellicottville, New York. This beer clocks in an 8.2% ABV and 32 IBUs. In this beer, they use sweet cherries and locally produced chocolate. That's freaking awesome. Sweet cherries are good. So is local chocolate. Anyways, next, we've got a beer from Shorts Brewing Company. I've never had a beer from Shorts. I hear really good things about them, especially from Ewart. Shout out to you, Ewart. Is this glass diva enough for you, Ewart? Check out Ewart's channel, Streams Bruisings. He does some awesome reviews. Sometimes, maybe like once or twice a year. Right, Ewart? You've been making some reviews? Anyways, I digress. You're not surprised. What beer do we have from Shorts? We've got their Aphasia. Now, Aphasia is an old ale that they produce in their Bel Air, Michigan plant, and it clocks in at 9% ABV and 25 IBUs. Now, since it's an old ale, I'm sure this will cellar well. This may be cellared. It may be pouring down my neck soon. I don't know. Depends if the stunt drinker shows up. Stunt drinkers like high ABV beers. So, I'm going to go into a beer that Joe and also Ewart went on a pilgrimage to acquire. That's right, they went to Kuhneman Brewing out of Warren, Michigan. So the next beers are going to be all from there. And they acquired 6 lovely brews for me, waiting in line at 5:30 in the morning. You guys rock, man. I even hear there was like fucking fisticuffs out in the parking lot because they ran out of beer. You know what? That happens. Fucking fanboys. Anyways, what beer do we have first from them? We've got the one and only and famous Fourth Dementia 4D Old Ale. That's right, this bad boy clocks in at 13.5% ABV and between 30 and 60 IBUs. Now, this is an old ale, and it's not just a regular 4D, it's a 2013 vintage of 4D. That totally freaking rocks. Now, if that wasn't enough, Joe also hooked me up with the 4D Barrel-Aged Old Ale. That's right, now this one clocks in at 14% ABV, got an extra 0.5% ABV with the barrel aging, and between 30 and 60 IBUs. Just awesome. Bourbon barrels, old ale, I'm digging that. Next, we've got yet another version or variant of 4D. We've got their barrel-aged Old Village Stock Ale. Now, a stock ale is a lot like an old ale in many ways, maybe some recipe differences slightly, but this one's clocking in at 14.2% ABV, so we got another 0.2% in this bad boy, and between 30 and 60 IBUs. Now, the other twist with this beer is what? That's right, they put Brettanomyces or bread in this, so we're going to have a bit of funk in that. So this might be the first one I drink, because you leave the funk in there too long and it becomes all funk and dry as an Arab sandal. So next, we've got even more Kuhneman happiness, because you heard me mention that 6-pack action. What beer is it? We've got there Kuhneman barrel-aged barley wine. That's right, this is aged in bourbon barrels, and this bad boy clocks in at 14% ABV. It's supposed to be a rival to Bourbon County and also Sukaba. Joe, does it taste like coconut? Anyways, I digress. That's what I do. And it clocks in between 35 and 65 IBUs. They're not into IBUs at Kuhneman's, but whatever. You know, I'm a beer geek, so I got obsessed. Oh, look, the bottle wall is growing. I wonder if you're going to even be able to see me by the end of the video. So, next up, what do we have for them? We've got Kuhneman's Bourbon Barrel Aged Imperial Stout. Now, this is an American Imperial Stout. Clocks at 12.9% ABV and between 50 and 90 IBUs. Now, I'm sure you're hearing the ABVs on this. You know the stunt drinker wants to come in session on this, because that's how Johnny the stunt drinker rolls. So, let's clear the seas a little bit more, because we're already filling up the space. So, last but not least from Kuhneman, we have their Braggot. That's right, a Braggott's kind of like a hybrid sort of style, and it clocks in at 12.8% ABV and between 0 and 60 IBUs. So, haven't had a Braggot. Maybe I have. I don't remember having a Braggot. Maybe I was drunk that night. Wait, let me see if I ever had a Braggot. Jogs my memory. Yes, I've had a Braggot before. They're kind of fun. Dude, we'll try this as well. So, already you can see in the first, like 10 beers, 9 beers, we've got complete and total epicness. So, what do we got next? We've got a beer from Outside Ales, and which one is it? It's their Sinister Vertigo. Now, what is Sinister Vertigo? Sinister Vertigo is a Russian Imperial Stout. It clocks in at 10% ABV and 30 IBUs. I don't know much about this beer because I've never had a beer from Outside Ales. I think I remember Eric Wood at Blackboard Beer Reviews reviewing this beer, but I don't remember. I drank a lot. What can I say? So next, the bottle farm is growing. We've got yet another beer from Outside Ales, and it's their Chocolade Coffee Stout. Now, it's an American stout that's brewed with local coffee. It clocks in at 6% ABV and between 15 and 25 IBUs. It's supposed to be really coffee forward in roast and coffee itself. Sounds good to me. I like coffee stouts. So, next, to end box 1, we have a beer from Spider Bite Beer Company. This is one that's pretty local to Joe. It's out of Holbrook, New York, I think, if memory serves. I'm trying to remember all this shit. And this is Boris the Spider. This is a Russian Imperial Stout. It clocks in at 10% ABV and 25 IBUs. Joe likes this. It's a local one of his local favorites. So, that's box 1. I'm going to reload my sidebar chair here, and I'll be back after I get a little bit of a drink with box 2. Cheers! Oh, Canada, our home and native land. Well, you're probably wondering why, DJ, why are you singing the Canadian National Anthem? Well, we got a lot of Canadian beers coming up in box 2. We got a big ass 12-pack of awesomeness here, and we got another one in box 2. That's right. So, we're going to start out with 6 beers from Bellwoods Brewery. That's right, they're out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And what beer we're going to start there first? We're going to see lots of hoppy beers. We're going to start out with their Boogeyman. That's right, Boogeyman is a DIPA. This is 8% ABV in between 65 and 125 IBUs. Highly lauded. A lot of people are digging it. I think Paul might, PA Brew News, or Bear News, Brew News, might have liked that one. Did you like it, Paul? I can't remember. Anyways, next we have a beer from Bellwoods. That's not hoppy, but one that I've been wanting to try for probably 3 years since I started watching BrewTubing. And I saw Chad, the Albino Rhino, shout out to you, my brother, reviewing this beer. And I said, man, I want to try this one day. And what beer is it? It's the Bring Out Your Dead. That's right, Bring Out Your Dead 2014 vintage Cognac Barrel Aged Russian Imperial Stout. This is 12.2% ABV and between 40 and 80 IBU Russian Imperial Stout, as I mentioned. And I've been wanting to try this one forever. Joe, thanks a million for grabbing this one, dude. So, next, we got another Bellwoods beer. That's right. And one of the things I like about Canada is I like their comedy. I always watch like The Kids in the Hall and a lot of those comedy shows in the 80s and 90s from Canada, and I really dug it. I used to even watch You Can't Do That on television on Nickelodeon. Remember Alanis Morissette was on that show? God damn, I'm old. Anyways, what beer do we have from them? We have their Cat Lady IPA. That's right. You know, that's what I think is like humorous. Crazy Cat Lady. Who names a beer Cat Lady? Anyways, this clocks in at 7.2% ABV and between 40 and 70 IBUs. Sounds awesome. We'll take it. I wonder if it tastes like cat piss. Maybe that's why, you know, because like some IPAs have that cat piss taste. Maybe they named it that way. Anywho, so next we've got probably, I think this is Average Joe's favorite IPA out of Canada right now, and one of his favorites. This is the Roman Candle IPA. Now, this one clocks in at 6.8% ABV and 45 to 70 IBUs. Now, one thing to note about these hoppy beers, they're all mega fresh, all under a month old, and coming all the way here to Maryland from Canada. That is just totally freaking awesome. So, next, these are cool half-liter bottles too, aren't they? So, we got yet another hoppy beer from Bellwoods. And what do we have? We have their Witch Shark DIPA. Now this one's clocking at 9% ABV and between 65 and 120 IBUs. And this is supposed to be a big ass hot bomb up in your grill. Maybe like a Witch Shark, whatever the hell a Witch Shark is. I don't know. So, next, we've got a session beer. You guys know I've been on a quest to find the ultimate session beer for a long time now. We've got a session beer from Bellwoods, and it's their Wizard Wolf APA, or American Pale Ale. This beer clocks in at 4.8% ABV and between 30 and 45 IBUs. So, I mean, maybe this is the one. Maybe this is the holy grail. Maybe I'm saying, damn, this, I could drink this all day out in the sun, chug it, and we got half liters at a time on it. Maybe if it's a can, that would be better. Who knows? Anywho, so, boom, we've got a big old rack from Bellwoods, and I'm losing space. We got to start into part 2 of the table. I'm going to be cocooned in beer very soon. So, next up, what do we have? We've got a big ass stout from a brewery that I've already had some beer before, and I really enjoyed, from Nickelbrook Brewing Company, who's also in Toronto, Canada. And what do we have? We have their Bolshevik Bastard Russian Imperial Stout. This beer clocks in at 9% ABV and 70 IBUs. I've heard really awesome things about this and its other variants. So, don't worry, later in the program, in box 3, we got more Nickelbrook beer. Oh, God help me. Anyways, next, we're going to go to Ireland. We've got the whole international thing going here. We've gone to Canada, now we're going to go to Ireland. And we have a beer from a brewery I've never seen around here. They get it up in New York, apparently. It's from White Hag Irish Brewing Company, I believe it's called. And we have their Imperial Oatmeal Stout. It's their Black Boar Imperial Oatmeal Stout. Now, this one clocks it at 10.2% ABV and between 40 and 80 IBUs. Who knows? It's supposed to be a pretty tasty brew. I've never had an Irish oatmeal stout. I like Irish oatmeal, the steel cut stuff, so maybe the stout will rock the house too. So, next, we've got another beer from White Hag. We've got their Irish Heather Ale. This one clocks in at 7.5% ABV and between 0 and 60 IBUs. Now, why am I saying that? Because sometimes these Heather ales, or, you know, Frock ales, or whatever the hell they want to call them, they use all kinds of weird spices and different things in the place of hops sometimes, and they got no bitterness, but maybe they'll get you cronked at 7.5% ABV. So, boom. Next up, yes, there's even more awesomeness. Now, you guys know, my favorite, if you watch enough DJ BrewTube, my favorite American lager brewer currently is who? Come on, say it with me. Jack's Abbey Brewing out of Framingham, Massachusetts, US of A. Yay, yay. That's right. And what beer do we have from them? We've got their Framingham Baltic Porter. Hell yes, I've never had this beer. That clocks in at 10% ABV and 55 IBUs. That rocks the total house. Now, if that wasn't good enough, Joe was so kind to give me another Jack's Abbey beer. You see the little crown here? What beer is it? Oh, let's turn it around. That's right. It's their bourbon barrel-aged Framingham. That's right. Also a Baltic Porter, of course. Base beer, put in bourbon barrels. Not hard math there. This one clocks in at 10% ABV and also 50 IBUs. Happy the man. So, I've got the base beer and the barrel-aged beer. So you know we're going to have to do some kind of side-by-side review on this and get all crunked and try, and seriously review the flavor profiles of these beers. Alright, last but not least out of this box, is a beer from Crooked Stave. I don't get Crooked Stave around here. That's out of Denver, Colorado. And Joe did not send just any Crooked Stave beer. That's right. He sent their Nocturnal Serenade, or Serenata Nocturna. That's right. This is a barrel-aged 12% ABV sour beer, or wild ale. You don't really see that a whole lot, and a lot of times the high ABV sour beers aren't known to be the best things on the planet, but this one is supposed to totally rock the house. So, that concludes box 2. We've gone through yet another 12-pack. Listen to this noise. All that glass, that's right. And we've got even more beer in box 3. So, I'm going to get box 3 up on said sidebar chair here, get a little bit of beer to wet my whistle, and I'll see you in a second. Cheers! Hey there guys, if you have stuck around for box number 3, I know you're truly hardcore. That's right, you're big time beer geeks. You love the beer hoarding just like Joe and I. That's why you're still here. So let's get into a trio of beers to kick things off. That's right, a trio from none other than Beau's All Natural Brewing out of Van Cleek Hill, Ontario, Canada. And what do we have from them first? We have their Burnt Rock Vanilla Porter. Now this is a vanilla porter, as the name suggests, clocks in at 5.6% ABV and 29 IBUs. Just like all their beers, they use as many organic ingredients as possible, and I think they're actually brewing the best organic beers right now that I've tasted anyway, and I've drank a pretty good amount of them. Next one, we have their Winter Brewed. This is an amber ale, coffee amber ale that's used local coffee, organic ingredients, and it clocks in at 6% ABV and 25 IBUs. Next, we have a Gruit from Beau's. That's right, this is their St. Luke's Verse. They're using lavender, rosemary, thyme, things of that sort. Gruit items, things to replace hops before they had hops and knew about them. Clocks in at 7.2% ABV and between 45 and 70 IBUs. Now, before in box 2, I think it was, maybe 1, I don't know, I promised some more Nickelbrook beers. So we have our first one up from them. This is their Headstock IPA. This one clocks in at 7% ABV and 80 IBUs and is supposed to rock the house, and is also exceedingly fresh, like the other IPAs from Canada that Joe brought me. Man, you rock. So let's see, our next one, yet another Nickelbrook beer. This is their Immodesty IPA. This clocks in at 9% ABV and 85 IBUs and is supposed to be a real hop showcase. I'm down for hop showcase. I will pour this pounder down my neck very soon. So, next up, last but not least from Nickelbrook, is a beer that I've wanted to try since 2013. And we have, in fact, a 2013 vintage, because this beer trade has been building for a really long time. What beer is it? It's their, excuse me, Whiny Bastard 2013 vintage, and this is the Pinot Noir barrel aged version of their Bolshevik Bastard. This beer clocks in at 9.5% ABV and 70 IBUs. Yum yum. We like wine barrel aged beers around here for sure. So next we have some beers from Great Lakes Brewery, not to be confused with Great Lakes Brewing Company out of Ohio. No, this is Great Lakes Brewery out of Toronto, Canada. That's right. And we have first their Thrust, an IPA. Never heard a title like that or a name like that, but this one clocks in at 6.5% ABV and 72 IBUs and is supposed to rock the heezy. So, or the house, that is. So, next we have another beer from Great Lakes Brewery. We have their Johnny Simcoe. This is a single hop pale ale, American pale ale, that is. All Simcoe hops, 5% ABV and 30 IBUs on this one. Oh, it's hard to remember all this shit. And last but not least, from our Canadian brethren brewers up there, is a beer that I've wanted for a really long time, and I thought I would never be able to try, and I've wanted it ever since probably like 2013 also. What beer is that? It's one from Flying Monkeys, who are also out of the sort of Toronto area, and it is their what? That's right, Chocolate Manifesto. This is their highly lauded, highly acclaimed Imperial Chocolate Milk Stout that clocks in excuse me, at 10% ABV and 98 IBUs. I can't wait to dig in this. This is supposed to be just complete liquid dessert. Everybody I've seen review it, like the Johnny G, Average Joe, all the guys up in Canada, Brad at Brews on the Review. Shout out to all you guys, by the way. And everyone has dug this beer. I can't wait to hammer this and pour it down my freaking neck. And if the Sun Drinker comes by and he's lucky enough the day I'm drinking this, maybe he'll get some too. Right, Johnny? That's right. So, Next, we're going to go to America now. One of the most popular and growing styles is Gotza these days. And whose Gotza do we have? We have one from Westbrook Brewing. That's right, these guys are out of Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. And this beer clocks in at 4% ABV and 5 IBUs. This is my real go-to grass cut in summertime. I've been sweating beer because this puts some salts back in you. So it's healthy, right? That's right. A healthy 4% ABV and 5 IBUs. Hey! Anyways, enough of that shit. We have a beer from now that is an extra from a brewery that I've never heard of. It's called Indian Brewing Company. And, excuse me, those guys are in Blue Vault, I think it is, New York. And this is their Kuka Coffee Cream Stout. So this is probably a coffee milk stout, I assume. 6% ABV in between 15 and 45 IBUs for the style. So, next up is a beer from another brewery that was an extra in the trade here, and one that I've never, excuse me, had anything from, but I've read and heard a lot of good things out from Single Cut Beersmiths, and this is their Billy Full Stack DIPA. I don't know who Billy Full Stack is, but this is his DIPA. This one clocks in at 8.2% ABV and 138 IBUs. So I will be pouring this hot bomb down my neck really soon. And it's another one of these cool half-liter bottles. So next, we have one from the Great Lakes Brewing Company out of Cleveland, Ohio. Shout out to Dave and the Johnny G. And what beer do we have from them? It's a new beer. It's called the Alberta Clipper. This is a 7.8% ABV and 40 IBUs porter that has raspberries and I believe chocolate in it. So I love their Edmund Fitzgerald porter. This is a little bit maybe bigger version of that with some adjuncts. Yum. I'm down for that. Next, we have a beer that was actually brewed locally, not far from here in Northern Virginia. That's right, but it was brewed for the Grimm Artisanal Ales out of Brooklyn, New York. And this is their Rainbow in Curved Air. I don't know what the hell Rainbow in Curved Air is, but that is this. This one clocks in at 5% ABV and between 10 and 30 IBUs for the style. Now, this is a peach wild ale. Excuse me. Peach wild ale that's been aged on oak, and it just sounds lovely. It's wild. Maybe I'll go wild for this beer. And it's kind of local because it's very close to the Stunt Drinker's house also. So I consider this a local brewed beer. Just the company's located somewhere else. Man, I'm running out of room here. Not surprised by this freaking wall of beer. Next, we have one from California, from Chico, California. No, it's not Sierra Nevada. It's from Highwater Brewing Company, and this is their Campfire Stout. And I believe this one's got like marshmallow and graham and chocolate and stuff like that. It's supposed to be the liquid s'mores, and it's clocking in at 6.5% ABV and 38 IBUs. Hoo-wah! So we will put that into the rack here. Now, one of my favorite breweries of all time that I've drank a lot of beers from, I've done a lot of reviews of their brews, that's Founders Brewing Company out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. And what do we have from them first? A beer that I couldn't get, and in the Stunt Drinkers area where they sell it, it sold out in a nanosecond. That's right, it's their big, luscious chocolate stout. This is an American Imperial Stout, clocks in at 7.8% ABV and between 50 and 90 IBUs. So this is a chocolate stout that they put raspberries into, and I like their Rubius, which is really tasty. They do a good job putting raspberries in beers. Maybe this will be awesome, and I can, say if I like this one or this one better, because we got a couple of raspberry beers here. That's fruity and happy and fun, right? Anyways, so next beer up, we've got a beer that is an initialism. That's right. It starts with 3 letters, KBS. That's right, Founders, KBS 2015 edition. This is our 11.2% ABV and 70 IBU friend that I couldn't get this year because it also sold out in the nanosecond in Virginia because we don't get Founders in Maryland. And Joe, thanks a million for sending this, my brother. I know you broke this out of your private stock. That totally freaking rocks. I'm humbled by your generosity. So, the last beer in this wall of freaking beer, over 5 gallons that we've received here. We've got a beer that's out of Buffalo, New York, and it's from Resurgence Brewing, who I think is a really small and new brewery, and this is their Imperial Sponge Candy Stout. This clocks in at 10% ABV and between 50 and 90 IBUs, and they use local candy in this, whatever sponge candy is, I believe chocolate and something else, but this totally rocks, and man, I hear really good things about this. So, as you can see, like I said, we have a freaking wall of beer in front of us, and this is a testament to Joe's generosity and a testament to the fact that we worked to build this massive beer mail up, this gallons of beer, for over a year. This was a long time in the making. This is totally epic. I don't think I've seen a beer mail this big on all of YouTube, and I've watched a lot of videos. Maybe there is one. If you guys know one that's bigger than this, let me know, because I really like to watch that, because I'm down with this kind of shit. So, what I'm also down with is you guys thinking globally, drinking locally, and supporting the craft beer movement. I'm also really down with being thankful, thank you, whatever the fuck that is. Joe, thanks a million for sending all these beers, man. You totally freaking rock. I hope you enjoy every beer that I sent you, because remember, guys, don't just think this is a one-way street. I sent Joe back the same wall of beer. Maybe he'll put it on his channel if he ever starts one up, or put some videos up on there. Joe, just one suggestion, this would be an awesome first beer. So, to the next DJs BrewTube, thanks to me and to each and every one of you guys for watching. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe if you already haven't, because obviously lots more beer reviews are on the way to you. So, like I said, thanks 2 million, Joe. And remember, doing these beer mail videos and all this crazy shit, along with all these copious amounts of beers, just like this one, cheers, are one of the things in life that put my happy face on, because that's why we do this, because it's all fun and it keeps a smile on our face. So, to the next DJs BrewTube, I got nothing but a bunch of love for you. And you know what's coming, that's right, a big ass, a peace out!